Welcome Crocodiles to part. I still don't know. Then still haven't
It's this part.
23.
Yeah. So first off, Ariel hasn't seen the Chapter 5 trailer, and she has the link, so we're going to watch it right now, and she's going to react to it.
Oh, yeah. Okay, everybody.
Shelby, or Ariel's nun reacts now.
Okay, I hope everybody's ready. I'm going to hit play in 3, 2, 1.
Watching it with you.
I believe there's something special in homes. Belief can make you rich. Belief can make you powerful. Why, with enough belief, you can even cheat death itself.
Looks like we're in for a fight. Here they come!
This one's going to be more action-based.
Oh, man.
It'll be in horde mode.
So any initial ideas, or do you want to take this apart piece by piece?
Okay, let me give initial ideas that I got from it. Okay, first, a bunch of handprints. Some had 3 fingers, some had 5, some had 4. Okay, next part. I forget what happened. At some point, that lady started talking, and she said, "Let's fight." And we said nothing, and we started fighting. The animation looked kind of cool. And then when the Butcher Gang members was there, that seemed strangely important. And also, he said we can even achieve death itself.
Yeah, they did bring that back up.
Yeah, they did.
They did. Well, I guess I can pull this up piece by piece. So we go, first is that quote, achieve death itself. I feel like that's more like Joey Bendy bring up. I do like you pointed out the different fingers, different stages of tunes, I feel like.
Yeah. Different stages of tunes?
I don't know. I'm making stuff up. I also like it says, what am I? You know, not monsters written on the wall. So like they're confused about what's going on.
Yeah.
And so I think there's interesting with that. I feel like we're going to find, hopefully we're finding more about lost ones or just in creations in general because we're out of time. We also got this like boat in the ink. That's going to be terrifying.
Oh, yeah, look at that boat.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't like that.
No, that's going to suck. And then we have the Butcher Gang. I feel like I think I saw someone, I forget who posted, they're like, you know what's the most amazing thing about this trailer? That there's no ink in this room. How did this Butcher Gang come into this hallway and there's no ink that we have to worry, like there's no ink anywhere. It's a normal hallway.
Whoa, yeah.
But he's just there.
He's just there, and
He's
they
just
planned
there.
on him for a long time.
Well, they actually did pan on something else. This trailer is not actually the original trailer that is out. They have actually cut something out of here, and I figured that out when I was making this, and I was like, where the heck is this scene? I remember this scene.
Oh.
So I'm going to show you the scene that was cut, because luckily we have the internet.
It looks like there's a shadow moving in the hallway behind him.
Yeah. Which I don't know what's going on with that. There is something, unless it's just like, I see like kind of wires. I wonder if it's another member of the Butcher Gang. But I don't, the way that they're moving is very jagged-like, and I feel like it reminds me of how Edgar moves. But I don't know. I'm just guessing. And then, of course, at the end, we see Allison fighting Lost Ones.
So
One,
cool.
we've never fought them before. 2, is Allison on our side? Like, it's going to be, gosh, there's a lot of Lost Ones. It's going to be hard and sad to fight them because they're just really sad in general.
I know, but maybe like they had the not monsters section, so maybe the ones that aren't monsters go there to hide from everybody else who are becoming monsters.
Monsters? That could be
ones.
it, true. That could be it.
Yeah.
And then let me send you... luckily, I dug through Tumblr to find this. It literally took me half hour, an hour to find this. But if you look at this gift set that I have just sent you, you can see the third one down is the scene that was cut out. And that was basically the entire scene. It had a little more panning to it, but that was about it.
Okay, wait, let me see. Oh.
Now, I had originally wanted to wait to tell you about this theory before you saw this trailer because there's a theory goes with this trailer, but not anymore if you take out that scene, which is really interesting.
Okay.
From my own ideas, and multiple people have said this below, the idea that there's 2 Bendys out there. We got 2 Alices, we got 5 million Borises, we got 5 million everybody else. Why wouldn't there be 2 Bendys? Totally possible. So, especially since in Chapter 4, Bendy acted a little differently. He was more mischievous. He actually reminded me a lot more of the cutouts than I did, old Ink Demon Chase After You, Bendy. So in this trailer, this model here that you see is actually the model from Chapter 3. This is not the Chapter 4 Bendy that we see.
Oh.
He's the, little more chubbier. He doesn't have his spine all sticking out. He's not the skeleton one. He's the little chubbier Bendy that was the one we messed with when we originally played Chapter 3. And so when people saw this, they were like, holy cow, 2 Bendy theory on a roll. This is our second Bendy. We see 2 Bendys in a more updated game that look different.
Okay.
And this is why I also think it was removed, because maybe if they were like, oh shoot, we just used that old model because we weren't thinking.
Oh, maybe.
And then took it out because they didn't want to think like, oh, there's 2 different Bendy models out there.
Oh, man.
So that's why it's like, okay, maybe none of that matters.
Yeah.
But I thought it was a really cool scene, nonetheless.
Yeah, it is really cool. I like it a lot.
So that's why it's like, I don't know, it's like, oh, 2 Bendys, or it's like, oh, definitely not 2 Bendys because, they just had a thing for 2 Bendys, or maybe they're just like, oh, we don't want to use that model because that's the old model and we were just messing around when we were making this trailer.
Yeah.
Because, the Chapter 3 trailer wasn't a real room until Chapter 4 either, so...
Yeah.
Who knows? So...
Who knows?
But do you have any ideas on 2 Bendys? Do you think there's 2 Bendys? Do you think there's 1? Is there 20? Who knows?
I don't know, man. I kind of steer away from multiple Bendys, only because I can't think of who could be the multiple Bendys.
Yeah, we run out of people.
And I do think that he could be changing shape at times when he's doing poorly or doing well for whatever reason. He has more access to ink or something. I don't know. That sometimes he looks skeletal and sometimes he's kind of found himself a little bit again or something.
Well, the thing is, you don't see different models in different updates. Once the update happens, he's the same Bendy. So I think it's yeah. They were like, oh, we just want to change how he looks.
Okay.
Like how Sandy they changed how he looked.
I don't think multiple Bendys in. I do think they took it out because people started saying that.
And then we're like, oh shoot, our
That's what I
fans theorized too much.
Yeah.
So the only thing I wanted else to talk about, besides we say our predictions or anything, is just the new audio tapes, which I'm not going to play them right here. I'm just going to mention the parts that I grabbed from 1 and 2 that I thought were the most significant. So in the first one, the things that were interesting was this, these are all Henry audio tapes. It says, trapped below Joey Deuce Studios. Right now, 2 of them are holding me prisoner. There's a secret hiding in the shadows. I just feel like I'm being watched. There's something at work here. If anyone finds this, you must not. And then he says, hold on, they're coming back. And that sounds like a cage unlocking. And in the second one, it says, mostly I spend my day doodling, passing the time the best I can. I hear my captors arguing today. I guess they don't know what to make of me. I guess that makes sense because I don't know what to make of them either. Times like this, I wish Boris was still with me. He didn't say much, Boris, but he was a good friend to have. I miss him. I couldn't save him, but I promise I will get out of the studio if it's the last thing I do. Which are all very interesting quotes. Originally, I thought this might have been, since we've been talking about flashbacks so much, maybe this was something from the past. Until the second audio tape where he said he missed Boris, which makes you think this is Chapter 5 stuff that he's saying. And then what's interesting, the only 2 of them I could think of holding him hostage would be Allison and Tom. Because what other pair do we have? And also they didn't seem very happy with us, and it would make sense they're like, I don't know what to do with him. He's not an ink creature. Maybe he's actually human, or maybe because he's one of the creators, not just a random employee. So maybe because Bendy wants him. But then it's weird because we have it sounds like Allison and Henry are fighting together maybe, or at least she's somewhat protecting him. But then now it's like, oh, maybe they're not on our side. So I didn't know what you thought about these new tapes.
Yeah, well, so it's interesting because the trailer makes it look like you're fighting with this Allison or someone, and then the tapes come out and it sounds like he's alone in a prison.
Yeah.
And maybe he is. Maybe he is for a while, and then in chapter 5 they'll break us out
And then they'll be like, oh, I know what to do with you. Let's go. We're going to shut down the machine.
yeah.
So that's totally possible. Like, we're
Yeah.
going to find out there's going to be a third one since it's 1 out of 3 and 2 out of 3 in a few days. So maybe, like, we'll have all our answers, and then, sorry, this is coming out, and you're like, duh.
Yeah.
But I feel like it's very interesting. So I just kind of want to do a quick overview or wrap of, like, ideas we have going into 5. This is what we think will happen or what we want to happen. So who do you think or who do you want to be Bendy?
Me?
Yeah.
I think it's Joey. I think it's Joey, and that's just what I think.
Sounds good. Alden?
I think you're ultimately going to be Bendy.
That could be it,
Henry?
too.
I think that you or Henry or whoever you play as, you know, maybe Henry's just this mold you came up with, but I think that you, the character, are going to end up being Bendy. Maybe it's like a Fight Club scenario,
Oh,
you know,
okay.
where it's like, okay, you know, you envision this cool person, right, the whole time,
Yeah.
or in this case, Bendy, but really that whole time, it's you doing everything. You just put it in your mind because he's been, like I said, to continue my own Shutter Island theory here, he's just, you know, he's lost it because he's been in here for so long. So he's just
Yeah.
come up with this idea like, oh yeah, this Bendy guy, he's destroying everything, right? And also why in chapter 3 you're being chased by Bendy. It could explain like, okay, you know, you're kind of coming after yourself, right? And you're just you know, you're losing it, right? Because you think you're going, or Bendy's coming after you, but it's really just you going after yourself, and that can explain why you don't really die, right? Or you know, that kind of thing, because it's really you, you know, just getting after yourself, but nothing's really happening. So I think that it's going to end up being that it's going to be you, and the whole time
That'd
you
be
just
interesting.
you're just coming to the realization that it's been you this whole time.
Yeah. That goes with my theory
That you said
before.
before. Yeah.
That you're hospitalized, like Five
Yeah.
Nights at Freddy's style, where you're just kind of hallucinating these things happening to you while you're in like a
Somewhere
mental
else.
health hospital or whatever.
Yeah. Well, I guess I should say who I think. I guess based off what we have, I feel like Joey, but Henry has the opportunity to be the perfect Bendy, and I feel like that's a cop out for being both of your answers. But
But I mean,
But-
it could be.
yeah, I think that's our like what we have so far. It's our best guess, but like, you know, it'd be cool. I would love what I would want. I want Bendy to be Bendy. I want it to just be the cartoon that has some soul inside, but it doesn't matter because it's actually just Bendy. But probably not.
That would
But
be
I-
cool, though.
I just really want the cartoons to actually be in this game.
I see.
Is
I'm
what
also
I
kind of
want.
wondering if they trapped you in jail and then the Lost Ones freed you up, and then like you and the Lost Ones are
Or
going after them.
Allison, and then
Yeah.
Allison's just saying Henry, just be like, shoot, he escaped Henry! Like,
Yeah, yeah.
that could be it.
Hmm.
Has Henry been to the studio before?
You mean since he's like retired or whatever?
Whatever you want. Yeah, I guess since like the whole ink thing has gone down, since he's been drawing.
I want to say yes, just because I really like that flashback idea when he gets like triggered in chapter 4.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
suppose
I
he
think-
hasn't left.
Yeah, I think with the stuff that happened in chapter 2, really puts in that they're flashbacks, and so he's been here before, or at least seen things
Yeah.
before. Any predictions for the next chapter, or for the end of the game?
I mean, we haven't talked a lot about
Endgame?
Alice Angel.
Oh, or Alice, yeah.
Oh, I got it.
What?
Okay, so, you like turn like you fix everything, right? Everything's all good, like all the demons and whatever are dead and everything, but somehow the ink machine turns back on, right? But you have to die in stopping this cause. Somehow the ink machine turns back on, you're made back up, and then the game starts back at chapter 1.
Huh.
And it's just this endless cycle of doing it over and over and over. But your character, that's why you keep on going through the relapses of seeing things over and over in those flashbacks, is because you've done this thousands of times before, but you just don't realize it because you keep on getting remade.
You're coming up with all kinds of crazy theories.
I like it, though.
Where's my
great, yeah.
tinfoil hat?
Yeah. It was great. That's what you gotta say, like, everything you could think of, because there's so many possibilities.
Chapter 4 was an inside job.
Oh, snap.
I feel like for the end of 5, like, there's so many, like, the studio can burn down. There's been, like, that idea since Mike Mood had done, like, some testing thing, and then there was, like, fire. He was messing with fire animation. We're like, why is he messing with fire? Why? There's no fire in this game. Like, so we're like, studio's burning down at the end. Like, Henry could be the perfect Bendy. We could stop the ink machine. We could set everybody... Wouldn't it be nice to set everybody free and go home?
Yeah.
You could bring some tunes home. You could have everyone die. Like, there's so many different possibilities.
It's hard to picture a world that exists outside of this studio. Maybe it's because the studio seems so fake. And I think it just keeps going with what, like, the crazy ideas that Alden and I will say sometimes, or that Alden keeps saying, is that, like, somehow this whole world is in his head. And no matter how he solves it, he can't make it go away unless, like, he dies, because it's his brain. Because I just can't see you stepping out of the ink machine. I can't see that happening. Or the studio.
I think the only way it's, like, more plausible for me is because I've seen so many different AUs. There's AUs where he comes back and he has, like so many, like, horrible nightmares from that. There's so many AUs where he comes and brings back the tunes or brings back people, or people survive from it. Mm-hmm. And then, like... So, like, for me, I'm like, oh, yeah, that's what happens all the time in every single like, not every single AU, but, like, there's, like, multiple different ones that, like, in, what is it? I forget what they're all called. Like, Lamplack and the Swiggly Digs AU, like, they have the characters come out of the studio and they try to live a life after. But I think that's the whole idea of those stories, is to see, like, oh, what would happen after.
Yeah.
But if you think about it game-wise, it doesn't make sense much at all, like, what is on the outside of the studio.
Yeah.
Well, I'm wondering if it's going to be like the Gregory Horror Show game, where so he right. Like he burns everything down, and then it's like to continue this. Oh, it's all in his head. He burns everything down, right, and then he's like free, and everyone dies, or is free, or whatever, however you want to symbolize it, and then he returns back to society, but because society is from a lot of people, especially if someone was like mentally unstable or something like that, they can see that it's like a cruel world, and that they people are just evil and they hate it, and then so he goes back and recreates the Joey Drew Studios in his head. And he goes back into that place, right? And so then you see, like the building come back from the fire, and it's all getting rebuilt. And then you see the ink machine rise back up, right? And you see, the Bendies come back, and then you see Henry inevitably pull the lever to reactivate the ink machine, and he goes back into this world that he built. And even though it's a hell here, it's way better than the hell that's real life.
Yeah.
Tinfoil hat, baby!
Whoa.
Chapter 4, inside job.
That reminds me, the ink machine's been traveling since chapter 1 now. And I'm like, well, it's still lowering, so we're still probably going lower into... I always thought we were going to come back up to the first floor.
I know.
And then go up the stairs that were there. But, like, we keep going down, and it looks like the ink machine was going down, too. So I feel like we have to do something with the ink machine. It's the traveling ink machine. It's going somewhere.
Yeah.
I don't know where it's going. It's going down, but... my last question for everybody. So the Meatly said that there would be more Bendy games after this game. Do you think there's going to be, like, a Bendy 2 continuing off of the story, or are they all going to be, like, spin-offs like Nightmare Run?
It'll be Bendy and the sister location.
I hope it's continuation. I really don't like the nightmare runs.
Like the idea of like just some other game that doesn't have to deal with this one.
I'm so it's so uninteresting to me, and I don't know. Maybe it's because like for Five Nights at Freddy's, I didn't actually play all of them, so I don't care about actually playing them. I care more about the story. But I just hope he doesn't do that.
I don't think he's gonna do something like FNAF where he makes 5 million games.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
I don't think. I feel like sadly I don't think it's like Bendy 2. I think it's more like spin-off fun little things that he's doing with Bendy. But I hope I would be nice to get more story, especially depending on how Chapter 5 ends, because obviously we haven't gotten many answers yet.
Yeah.
So I am totally down for Bendy 2, but we'll have to see what happens. That's probably way off in the distance.
Yeah.
What do you think before I...
Sister location.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah,
you
yeah.
said that. Okay.
Sister location.
Any last thoughts before we end the episode?
No.
Yeah, I think I still just stand by what I said, you know.
Yeah, we covered quite a bit.
Yeah.
Quite a range of ideas.
He's a crazy guy, but he likes this world and he keeps going back to it. I think I do think that ultimately this is all in his imagination.
Yeah.
Or all in his head. And it's just, he's just, you know, way overseeing things. But he keeps on rebuilding these thoughts in his head, and then when he's going to be free of them, he's just going to inevitably go back.
Yeah.
He's fighting his inner demons.
Wait, wasn't that a quote? Didn't they say that on Twitter? I think they said that on the Twitter. Let me check.
Hashtag
Fight your demon. The hashtag is fight your demon. Like they always have like, just fight the angel. Like they always have like a hashtag per chapter, and this one's fight your demon, which is interesting. Your demon.
Yeah, your demon.
So you might
That's
be
such a
onto
common saying, like your inner demon.
Yeah. I guess what else to say? I really hope. Because I always loved the cutouts. I don't know why I love them so much. But I always thought they were fun and how they popped out, and I hope they pop out again in 5 or do something. I like to see them interact again. I've had a lot of fun playing Bendy and the Ink Machine and making all these theories. It's definitely one of the games I've gotten the most in depth with and why we've made so many different videos for it. So I thank you so much for watching and trying to watch them. I love this fandom so much. It's one of the ones I've been in more. I love all the AUs and art and stories and songs, so many songs and stuff like that. So thank you, whoever's watching, if you created anything for this game, for creating what you did and making this such a fun community to interact with. I've met so many different people and friends from it.
Like Ariel.
Like Ariel. Ariel.
All right.
But like Cyberflow, and Cyberflow, and then there's so many, and there's a few people that watch this. One's named Sammy. Sammy sometimes watches not all Sheblariel, but Bendy stuff. I don't know who else is watching. But thank you for watching, and thank you for making this such a fun community and game. And stay tuned for our Chapter 5 stuff, and where we finish it all, most likely.
And remember,
Yeah.
that's not just a theory.
It's a game here. So we'll see you. We'll try to get videos up as quickly as I can. This is finally the final day that I actually play the game for sure, all the way through day it comes out, because I actually don't have to work the day it comes out finally.
Woo!
So I will try. I should hopefully get videos out quicker than I have past chapters, but we'll see what happens. Okay, well, we're done. So we'll see you guys later.
See you later.
Bye.
Goodbye.